Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pisgah Podcast.
We are your hosts. I'm Mangler, and that is Drew, and you are listening to Pisgah. We're coming to you live from the new Buc-ee's near Talladega Motor Speedway.
Welcome back. But what are we doing in Alabama? This is not even the right time zone.
Drew, we came for the slow tech, but more on that later. First up, let's catch up on Cranksgixing that was out at Ride Canoga this past weekend.
I'm Jared, I guess the event promoter for Cranksgixing out here at Ride Canoga. We're just out here having a party and racing bikes in the woods.
This is the second year having it here, so how's it been going?
Second year has been a lot better than the first. Always new venues are kind of stressful, but the guys here at Ride Canoga have done an amazing job hooking everything up, dialing the trails in. To grading the parking lots and building campfires for everybody. I couldn't ask for a better venue to have support us, so it's been amazing, so really. So this is the actual 10th year of Cranksgixing. We started out in Greenville back in 2011. We kind of started harebrained idea of putting on an enduro, which was not so great back then, and we've just been improving on it ever since, so yeah.
Before attending the parking lot party, I climbed up the mountain to try and catch some racers before they dropped in. As soon as I popped out of the woods from climbing up through natural selection, I caught Nico about to drop in on Evergreen.
This is my sixth stage I'm about to drop in on, so I'm feeling it by this point in the day, but I think I've been riding pretty well and having fun. On the stages we already did, Luca beat me on one, but I beat him on a couple, so from what I can tell, I got a couple second lead. But I know the trails pretty well, so I guess that's an advantage. So I just got to get down this last one. Luca is so good at pedaling. He's such a fit rider, and this Evergreen stage is a 3-minute sprint. So hopefully I can just keep the gap and stick with him.
Yeah. What made you save Evergreen for last?
I don't like it, and I didn't want to do it. I wanted to I thought I could gain time on the technical stuff more if I was fresher than if I was tired. And this, even if I lose a little bit, it's the last stage, just empty the tank.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, good luck.
Thank you.
Another frequent local about to drop in on their last run of the day was Lily Driver. So how's the race going so far?
It's going super well. I got one stage left, rode a ruckus. So I'm going to give it my all, but I'm super tired now. Lots of climbing today.
What order did you do them in?
I did GNCC first for a warm-up, and then I got natural selection out of the way because I was really stressed about that trail. And then I did Paint It Black, and then the green trail, and then Hemlock, and now I'm on Red Ruckus.
How do you usually do on Road Ruckus?
Decent, I guess, but now I'm super tired, and they added a climb in at the end, so we'll see how that goes.
Awesome, well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, Gus, so here we are almost a year later, and we're at Cranksgixing, which you were on our first episode, so had to bug you again. So how did your Cranksgixing race go?
It was pretty awesome. I felt good on most of the stages and not so good on the black stages. I was kind of coming off of consecutive injuries, just little can't get fully healthy and kind of just keeps happening, so that was a little slow, but everything else was good.
Yeah, it seems like the course is running super fast. I rode here a couple of days ago, and it was dry, and it seems like even faster today.
Yeah, everything around here seems kind of drier than normal right now.
What order did you do the stages in?
I started off with kind of the mediocre trails, mediocre difficulty, like GNCC, and then I went over to the gnarly trails, kind of thinking maybe they would get more blown out as the day went on, and then I finished with the pedally trails.
Okay, that's not a bad move.
Yep. We'll see. Everybody does it a little different. It's cool how that works out. Yeah.
We're just hanging out at Cranksgixing at Ride Canoga. And I'm Jeremy Williams, Team Savage Racing. And we have some of our last year kids racing this season and did the Super D and the Enduro race. The girls took the top 3 spots in their classes, and we're waiting on everyone else to finish to see where the boys ranked.
All right, we are here with the top 3. What group?
Junior Enduro Women.
So what are your names?
I'm Stella.
I'm Casey.
And I'm Caitlin.
How was the race?
Oh, it
Pretty
was
good.
really fun, actually.
I had so much fun.
It was our first enduro for all three of us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was kind of just chill. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Wait, it was your first enduro race?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
for all three of you?
Yeah.
And you all got like 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Yeah, we're downhill racers, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. You looking forward to doing some more enduros?
Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
I thought it was fun. I don't know about. Sure.
Callie, right here at your beautiful venue. So tell me, how's the day going so far?
Oh, Cranksgiving's going great. Everyone's having a good time. The vibe is pretty good around here in our new location, so it's been a great day.
What's the turnout been like?
For the enduro today, we had around 360 riders. We're hoping to grow that next year. It's just parking is the issue. But besides that, we want to make it bigger and better.
Yeah, so last year was your first year doing this Cranksgiving up here. Prior, it took place down in the upstate South Carolina area, and then it looks like you've lured them up here for at least another year.
I hope so. Yeah, we did. And I hope next year, like I said, they're back and it's good. And I mean, it's a good excuse for us to prep the trails really nice and throw in some different lines. And it's mutually beneficial for all of us.
Walker, we are here because you laid down a pretty fast time yesterday. Tell me about that.
Yesterday was pretty good. Today, not so sure, but yeah, had super fun. It was pretty loose at the top, but just tried to keep it smooth in the ruts and pedal hard where I could. So yeah, it was sick. Good race, and I think everyone's stoked to be out here at Canoga. So yeah, awesome.
Tell me about your home court advantage.
There wasn't much of a home court advantage yesterday. Today, definitely a little bit, but they kind of spiced it up with some trail reroutes. So I found myself going into bits, cooking, and then all of a sudden looking up and just being like, oh, I'm running into the tape. So it was good and bad, but yeah, I think everyone enjoyed it, and it was cool. There was quite a bit of practice on Friday and Saturday for the enduro, so with a short hill, you could get a lot of runs in. So yeah, it was sick. I think everyone had a good time.
Racing for Trek World Racing out of Pisgah Forest, North Carolina, Olympic mountain bike champion Yolanda Neff.
And one rider that we all saw sneak peeks of on social media ripping laps at Canoga the week before was Olympic gold medalist Yolanda Neff. Is this your first enduro race?
Yes, it is.
How'd it go?
Yeah, it was cool. It was really fun. I mean, it was a long day because you have to pedal back up all the time, but we already did some long days here before, so yeah, it was a fun day and just very social. Yeah, I mean, you are with your friends and you just pedal back up and ride down, so it was a really fun day.
How does this compare to some of the XC races that you've been on to excel at?
Yeah, it's very different. I mean, I'm really not used to have so many breaks in between and that it takes so long. I'm used to warm up, race full gas, and then you're done for a day. So that was very different for sure. But yeah, it was cool. It was a good experience.
So are we going to maybe start seeing you on some EWS circuits in the future?
No, 100% no. No, I'm not going to do downhill. I'm also not going to do enduro. It was really just I mean, it was so close to home and it was fun to try. And yeah, I think I won, so that was cool. But yeah, at the same time, I'm very happy with cross country, so I'll stick to that.
How does this compare to some of the World Cup courses that you do?
I mean, for me, the biggest difference is the bike, because here I was riding a Trek Slash, which is a very big bike for me, very different to my Super Caliber that has 100 millimeters of travel.
Yeah.
So yeah, very different bike, and I guess that's the biggest difference. I would say the trails are here for sure. They are really well prepared and flowy and fun, and I would say on the World Cup a lot of times it's very tight and tech. You carry much less speed, and you have to be very precise. So I think here it's very fast and bigger features, which is also very fun to ride.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, we're excited to see you out here winning, which is awesome.
Yeah, I had fun today, so it was cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So Drew, while I was out at Canoga, you spent the weekend hanging out on the other side of Hendo at Jackson Park. So how'd the NCGP go?
Man, it was pretty awesome. The turnout was really good compared to some years that I've been out there, both for spectatorship and for people that were racing.
Right on.
The races provided plenty of drama, and there were also a lot of collegiate racers out in the mix. So, just to give a quick kind of overview, because if you've ever been to a cyclocross race, there is a category for every single person out there.
Yes.
But as the day goes on, you start getting to the elite categories and whatnot. So for the women's pro race, the winner was Anna Megale of Boise, Idaho,
Oh,
who races for the Trek Cyclocross Collective.
cool.
And because there were some collegiates there, we also had some of the collegiates mixing it up with the pros, like Lindsay Gonzalez from Marion University
Okay.
in Indiana.
Nice.
And then third place is Brevard's own Erica Zaveda, and that was on day one.
Right on, and good job, Erica.
Yeah, and for the men's pro race, it came down to a very tight race at the end. Former podcast guest Kerry Warner, who was here to show up, he pulled second place
Mm.
behind Gage Hecht. It came down to a near sprint. They were at least in sight of each other with about a 20-second difference at the end. And third place was Cody Cup of Durango, Colorado.
Wow, so some people traveling from all over for this. So yeah, like you guys said, it was a national event.
Yeah, absolutely. And then coming down to the pro race, the women's pro race on Sunday, on day two, Brevard's Hannah Ahrensman finished first place.
Right on, go Hannah.
Yeah, with Marion University's Lindsay Gonzalez coming in second, and Anna Magali, who won on day one, came in third place.
Sweet.
And as the drama, created some tension on Saturday's race for the men's, Kerry showed up ready to go on day two, won by a tenth of a second in a two-up sprint between himself and Scott McGill, with Saturday's winner, Gage Hecht, coming in about 40 seconds later in third place.
So how did the course end up playing for these guys?
Well, the course has typically been described as a power course,
Mhm.
and it's got a lot of long sections where you just kind of have to put your head down and time trial through it. They added a lot of new turns and kind of squirrel traps to a lot of the sections to slow down some of that stuff, and it really did break the race up into sections. There wasn't as big of a lead pack in most of these races as there has been in previous years.
Okay, interesting. So kind of like what they did at Ride Canuga this weekend was, they changed some things up with, doing some different course taping to
Hmm.
like shake things up a little bit. So it sounds like they were doing something similar out at the NCGP.
Yeah, I think, and it's good to not have a sure thing. It's good to throw some sticks in the spokes, so to speak, for
Yeah.
lack of a a better way to put it. But it makes for some exciting races, and I just want to shout out all the regional collegiates that came out. We had Savannah College of Art Design, Brevard College, Fort Lewis College, Milligan University, Duke University, Marion University, Appalachian State, Warren Wilson. We had, our typical regional colleges, but we also had a lot of the other ones in the area in that division come out and race. Lee's McRae up in Banner Elk. And we had Lindsey Wilson College, which former guest Josh Patton is the coach for.
Did you run across Josh while you're out there?
No, and Josh, I'm sorry about that. Mangler sent me a message and let me know you were out there. And by the time I walked over to where your trailer and everybody else's were, you guys were, you looked eager to get out of there because by the time I got back over there, your van and trailer were gone
Oh, yep.
on the second day. So sorry I
Show up to
missed you.
blow up and then get out.
Yeah, you got a long drive back, so I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the main. Shout out to all our regional racers that did their individual categories. Their masters or juniors categories. Like to give special recognition to Jonathan Hamblin of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for winning single speed. He's a veteran of this. He's been a UCI pro racer, and now he just does it for fun and lays down the pain for the single speed category. And I'm glad to see him still out there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's the recap, and it was a super fun event to see, and it's nice to catch up with a lot of my old cyclocross buddies that I don't get to see on a weekend to weekend basis like I used to when I was racing.
Right on. Well, that's good to play catch up. I kind of did the same thing out at Right Canuga a little bit with some of the homies. But with kind of the racing season, event season kind of coming to a close with these two events, winter kind of lends itself to, wanting to travel a little bit more sometimes. So, for one, want to give you guys a little travel update for those of us crisscrossing the North Carolina and Tennessee border on Interstate 40. There's going to be bridge work going on around the Harmon Den exit zone in the Pigeon River Gorge, which I believe is exit number 7.
Right. Yeah. Aren't they building a wildlife crossing there for the interstate?
Yeah, that's correct. But also, it's mostly to replace the bridge over Harmon Den as it's coming to the end of its quote service life. But,
Hmm.
it's cool to see them implementing something like that because I've seen lots of dead bears and deers and all sorts of critters on that. But that project is expected to go until May. So if it's a busy time, the DOT suggests an alternate route of taking 26 to 81 south, which would add on roughly 45 minutes, give or take.
Sure. Yeah. So Western North Carolina riders that are looking to hit up Windrock or go at Knoxville, perhaps, just plan ahead.
Yeah,
There are alternate routes that are good. Some of them don't add as much time, but the 81 route will have the least congestion.
yeah. I rolled through there last week just before construction started, so I got lucky.
Right. Well, as we look to get some potential weekend getaways for this winter, we usually look south of North Carolina.
Yeah, and sometimes a day trip to South Carolina isn't quite enough to warm you up, but you don't want to go all the way to Florida. Well, we've got a spot worth checking out, especially if you love some hard, slow tech, but also there's some fun, fast, and flowy stuff.
Yeah, we've mentioned Alabama in the past here. This time, Angler, you got a local on the mic to give the rundown.
Yeah, that's right. I've been playing internet tag with Birmingham local Lon Cullen over the past, I don't know, maybe 2 years or so. And last week we lined things up and made it happen with microphones.
Right on. It's a good listen.
My name is Lon Cullen, and I teach mountain biking skills, and we're at Oak Mountain State Park, which is kind of my main office venue, and we're on a trail that I really love. It's called Boulder Ridge.
Nice. So I stumbled upon this trail maybe 5 years ago on a road trip down here, and honestly, I was truly blown away. I did not expect something like this. Most people in the Southeast are expecting especially in this area of the country, I'd ridden out at Anniston at Coldwater, and kind of flowy, some rock stuff in the trails, but I mean, the name says it all, Boulder Ridge. So when we ventured into this trail, it was me and a group of dudes that grew up in Virginia riding, all the rock tech in Harrisburg and stuff. So we were all super psyched on this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So give me a little history on the trail. How'd it come about?
Yeah, I think it's about 2013. Don't quote me on that, but it's been almost 10 years ago. A guy by the name of Jay Bradford, he came up with the idea of building this trail, and he laid it out, and he got permission from the park, and then he got some of his riding buddies, Chuck Lewis and Michael Interval, and myself and a few others who, like yourself, like the tech and like to mix it up a little bit. He got us together and we started working on it. Basically, he laid it out, and then we just had a little bit of freedom to stay close to the main line, but not exactly on the main line the whole time.
So you had a gray area of corridor to play with.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is great for this trail because there's so many alt lines on features that, I mean, there's been trail networks that I've ridden where it's I'm on this rib in a single track that, yeah, it's nice and it's fun, it's well built, but beside me 10 feet off the trail is this cool rocks feature thing. I'm why are we not riding on that? And this trail answers all those questions for me.
Exactly. And that's kind of what we had in mind. I mean, it is rated a double black trail, so really only an expert rider should be on it in the first place. But hey, if there is a feature that's even darker double black, just 5 feet off of the trail, why not let that feature open up, and then the rest of us who would rather just stay with the main line, which is still hard, can ride that, and then two different levels of riders can have fun.
I've taken a few people on this trail that maybe didn't truly enjoy it for all the features, but they could ride most of it. So yeah, it's a double black trail, but not everything is mandatory.
Exactly. Yeah, there are no surprise gaps. No, you see what you're getting into, and For some of it, I'm probably faster walking in it than riding it anyway.
Oh yeah, some of that stuff. So kind of tell me a little bit about the history of like Oak Mountain State Park.
I've been riding Oak Mountain, I guess, almost 25 years. I didn't live here. I lived in Missouri, and I would visit family here, and then I'd come out and ride basically back then it was just an XC loop that went around that's called the Red Trail. And through the years, because of great volunteers and the park, I mean, the park is the boss, you know, the park allows us to do these things, but those relationships between the volunteers, Bump, which is our local club, Birmingham Urban Mountain Peddlers, we've just worked over those years to build different trails. I didn't really start getting involved until I actually moved to Alabama, you know, so I haven't been involved all those years. But yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity. We can ride here year round, which a lot of places in the United States are either shut down in the winter or shut down in the summer.
Yeah, I think my first trip here was in like January or early February.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this Boulder Ridge Trail is actually best ridden in the winter because the heat index gets so high here, and then when you're throwing down so much power on some of these tech climb sections that you can easily overheat. So we save this gym mostly for the winter.
Oak Mountain State Park has a network of trails, and there's some really fun downhill-oriented trails, and then you got some great XC trails. I'm also very impressed with the infrastructure you guys have here, and honestly, it's like a tank of gas in 5 or 6 hours gets you here from Asheville.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and let me just mention something about you, Michael. The way we got to meet each other was there was a line that my riding buddy I ride with the most, Javier, had hit, and he was the first one to hit it. And then a couple months later or so, I saw a picture of you hitting it, and it got me super excited because it's a feature that I haven't hit. It's a big deal. And you, as a quote unquote outsider, saw it and launched off of it, and that made me excited to want to meet you and then to try to show you some other lines that we've found on here, and then have you show us the lines, because you know sometimes the familiar becomes kind of strange, and the strange can become familiar. So that's a neat thing with riding with people who are outside of your home trail system, and vice versa. It's a good thing.
Yeah, and it was cool how we got linked up, you know, through social media just because of this trail.
For sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then, you know, I see you're out riding in some of my favorite zones. We're staying in touch on social media, you know, complimenting, you know, photos of each other and riding cool tech things. So yeah, it's cool that is a thing.
It really is. It's a neat thing that would not have happened well, I can't say it wouldn't have happened, but we don't know that it would have happened without this trail and us both just enjoying it. You know?
Yeah. So talk to me about how the locals think of this trail, because I'm sure it's kind of split. It's that way back home. Some locals love some trails, some locals hate that trail.
Sure. And I would say that is probably the best description of this trail. You really do either love it or hate it. Like, the nice thing is if you hate it, it's not hurting anything. You can just ride right by it. And and I think that's kind of what's happened over the years. Yeah, it's not full out trials riding, although a full out trials rider could have a blast on it. But it has a lot of slow tech, a lot of technical climbs, which a lot of people just aren't into that. And I get it, you know. But I think, you know, to be an all-around mountain biker, at least for me, I would like to be able to do everything at a B level. Maybe I'm not at A level at everything, but a C plus B level, and this trail does allow for everything except for jumps. I don't think it has a lot of jumps on it, but the tech up, the tech down, you know, it does have those things.
How are you seeing the more newer school mountain bikers, like who have started riding in the past like couple years? Are you seeing many of them gravitate towards this trail?
Not really, and part of what I try to do in the state park is I have permission to teach skills in the park, so I kind of have a progression of trails that I kind of try to help my clients work through, and I see them work and train on some of the easier trails, and then I kind of know when they're ready to move up to this, and then I'll make a suggestion. Hey, you want to get together for a private lesson or a class on this. As a matter of fact, I have a class on this the next 2 Saturdays, and have a lot of interest. But you know, it's not something I just throw out there for everyone, because not everyone's ready for it. I wouldn't be ready in any other sport for anything that comes at me. Mountain biking is a sport, and you have to put in your time, and you have to train to be ready to do certain things.
Yeah, and also, you know, with mountain bike culture, I'm not saying that we're in the older generation, but we are more not senior, but we're becoming elder in the mountain bike scene, you know.
Yes.
And I think us in the elder generations have a more appreciation for what it takes to ride slow tech.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you know, I think of the I've used the analogy of a Navy SEAL, and I'm as far away from being a real Navy SEAL as any person can be, and I think that's why I respect them so much. They can do anything. Like you know, they can jump out of airplanes, they can, you know, swim, whatever. And to me, like as an older mountain biker, seeing so many, you know, talented riders coming up, that's what I want for them. I want them to be able to pedal out an 18-mile cross-country loop and just nail it. And I want to see them skying over big flowy jumps, but I also would love to see them do some of this stuff that we've grown up on. You know, basically we had to ride old hiking trails or creek beds because there weren't mountain bike trails back then. And so it's definitely a part of the whole overall package as a mountain biker.
Yeah. Well, here we are. We're here at Boulder Ridge. It's let's see, we took a pretty direct route here, and it's about like 3 3/4 of a mile to get up here. It took us like 40 minutes.
Yeah, we parked at the archery range and we rode up Thunder, which is a bi-directional trail. And Boulder Ridge is also a bi-directional trail. We're taking it the most popular direction today. You're coming up the Red Road, the long Fire Road climb, and it's the very first entrance on your right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's the most popular direction for sure. It's what I would call the old race loop direction here at Oak Mountain.
Cool.
Because all the XC races come up that climb.
And if you look at Trail Forks, it is kind of southwest.
Okay, that's
direction.
good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because most people are going to be checking out Trail Forks for sure.
Yeah.
To get here.
It shows it as about a 0.4 mile climb in the beginning. And according to the Trail Forks data, it is a 303-foot climb and a 322-foot descent, a total of 1.4 miles, and the average time is 49 minutes.
Isn't that crazy?
But we're going to take like an hour and a half because we're here to have fun.
That's right. And we're going to see the real lines, the authentic lines. I've been up here with some people and they got done and they'd say, well, that wasn't very hard at all. And the reason why it wasn't hard is because they went around all the lines.
Yeah.
And that may be what I'm going to be doing today.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. And then we can mix it up some.
I know a lot of trail networks will kind of have like a squirrel catcher.
Yeah.
Per se at the beginning of a trail.
Right. This does have a squirrel catcher, but the problem is a lot of people go around it.
Ah, okay.
You know, which I think happens at a lot of trails, unless you're at some place like Whistler on A-Line where you have to go off the squirrel catcher.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, people on bikes are like water. They want to take the path of least resistance.
Yes, exactly. That's it. Nice. Yeah.
Oh, I should have went higher on it.
Right here. The next one is to go up this one, Michael. Right here. Boom, boom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but the rest of the line was exactly the line we took. You nailed it, dude. You did the hardest part.
Kind of a squirrel catcher off the bat. It's like a stair step.
Yeah, I mean it is, but you can see people are going right around it. And that's what we intended it to be, is the first part. When we built the trail, we laid it out. The line that you took is the line that we intended the rider to take.
Yeah.
But it's just like you said, horses and people sometimes go around the hard stuff.
And water.
Yeah, exactly.
This is definitely a dropper post trail.
Yeah. I don't think you need a big bike on this trail, but you do need a dropper post, and you also need modern geometry if you're going to ride the authentic lines.
Yeah, so last time I rode this, I was on a 130 bike.
Yeah.
Up.
And it's actually, 130 is pretty good for this trail. Yeah. I think this bike I'm on today is a little too big for this trail. It's a 160.
Okay.
So it's really not meant for this trail, but we're gonna hit another trail, hopefully afterwards, Storyteller, which is a brand new trail here at Oak Mountain.
Ooh.
And it's more downhill oriented, and this 160 travel bike will be perfect for it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm on my Enduro today, so lots of travel for it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's boulders everywhere. I love it.
Isn't it great? Yeah, we'll show you this line here. This one's called, we've named this one Dory because it looks like a fish.
Oh, it looks like Dory from
Yeah.
Finding Nemo.
Is
it this?
It's, yeah.
Oh, you know, I've ridden that one.
Have you done that? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, so far.
You go high here and then
Yeah.
cut left and go over it.
Yeah, and then go down and pedal drop it or roll it. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you've already, this is great. You're already seeing our lines that most people would just go right beside, you know. We make ourselves go in there to make it a little harder.
Okay.
To do, you know, to make that part harder. That's awesome that you saw that. Like
Yeah.
that, not many people would even see that as
Yeah.
a possibility.
And that's another thing that I think the older generation does is like,
Yeah.
we session things.
Exactly, yeah.
Like if you, like so many people now, they're all about their Strava time. So they're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
start to finish the trail as
Yeah,
fast
yeah,
as
yeah,
possible.
yeah.
We're like,
Exactly.
hey, let's stop and ride this a different way. Or
That's
how
right.
does it ride the other direction?
Exactly, and that's the same with XC or Enduro, because a lot of times Enduro people are just wanting to see how fast they can go downhill. And my thought is, you session this, and it's freaking gnarly, and you get it dialed, well then, maybe do a you know, a fast lap and see if you can work that into your, you know.
Yeah.
But you've already practiced it, so you know you can hit it. It's
Yeah.
now, can you hit it under pressure?
Yeah.
You know.
Can you hit it when it counts?
Yeah, and when your buddy's leaving you.
Yeah. It's cool you've got like all these chill zones in between the
Yeah,
hard
it's
moves.
almost like a natural, like, you can get your heart rate down a little bit. Traction's better than I thought it would be.
Okay, good.
It's not bad, is it?
No.
Yeah, so we'll just show you these lines, Michael, just because, you know, we want you to be aware of them. They're actually, again, like Dory, meant to be hit the other way.
Yeah.
Have you done that one?
And you drop off that rock.
Yeah, you've done that one?
Yep.
And then there's this one right here.
Yeah, you kind of just go up over it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other one is
Ooh, I've
over
not seen
here.
what's behind here.
Have you seen this one?
No.
Around the corner and then off that rock.
Oh, you come up over that.
Yeah, that tree's actually new. Right down
and
there.
then like a little flat drop off that.
Yeah. I've never done that. Only Javier and Corey and Chuck have done that. But yeah, you got 3 options here. It's so cool. Again, it's so cool that you actually saw 2 of them. We got a ton of more where that came from.
Oh yeah. Because like I'm always like scanning all this stuff and everything.
Yeah, there you go. Right onto that. And then, yeah, nice, Michael. Nice.
I'm sure you guys like scoured this. Like,
we do,
knoll.
but you know, the thing about it is it's kind of like now that the main line's in here, we can't go too far away from it.
Yeah, you can't go too far outside of the corridor.
Yeah, because we don't want to do anything, you know, the park wouldn't want us to do.
It's funny when you look at trail like graph data on Trail Forks, it looks like it's like this steep climb.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah, it's especially this time of the year, it's not bad at all.
No.
I'm about passed out in the summer. Some summers trying to.
When I was out here like a month ago, it was steamy.
Right. And you exert so much energy on this stuff, you don't really know how much is in the gas tank, but you're using all of it.
Yeah. Now there's a higher line right here,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that opened up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can take this one down here too, Michael. Come over here on the right side of that tree too.
Nice.
And then we usually go over this tree right here, which I think you just did.
Yeah.
And we got several lines in this next section, Michael.
My line is usually I like to go, I've gone high up through there.
Yeah.
And then come down this stuff.
Oh, that's awesome, yeah.
And then I've also gone like midways and then like
pedal drop off it.
Pedal drop off.
Yeah. So many cool lines here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love like when you're at like a rocky section like this and you just start looking at like.
Yeah.
You don't look at the individual like rock slides themselves. You look at like the points and what you can connect with tires.
Basically, when I'm teaching Michael, we call them beginner, intermediate, expert lines. Of course, they're all advanced, but the line I show my students who aren't quite ready for those other lines we looked at is this one right here. Just very straightforward. Here, nose pick. Well, and I didn't even do it, but then straight back out.
Okay, yeah.
And then out.
I'll do the Dr. Lon line.
Yeah, that's it right there.
And then here we are back down.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty fun line too, and
yeah,
one to start gaining a little confidence on this type of riding, you know. Yeah, Michael. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, nice. I've never been able to pull one of those off. I've tried so many times. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so you've done that, I'm sure, with the...
Yeah, I've usually done the roll when up high.
Yeah. We got a drop here.
Yeah.
Kind of, it hasn't been ridden in a while. Huck to flat here.
Usually I'm not the biggest fan of hucks to flat.
Yeah, and here's the couple other ones. I know you've done the straight roll.
But you can go further to the right.
Well, you can do that. Here's the one that we've added recently that may be hard to see, and this is not a good day to do it, but you come down here, creep, grab your front brake, throw your rear wheel over, level lift, let off the brakes, up over that rock, and then left and make it back out.
Loop back around on itself and then come back down the main line.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
I think Chuck's made that and Javier's made it clean. I have not made it clean. I made it, but I didn't make it back up, so it doesn't count. Yeah, but the funnest line is probably that straight down.
Yeah, just like good old classic rock roll.
It's just, it's just
some
fun.
jank in the mix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's weird how sometimes the funnest line is not the hardest. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a totally different line than what I take. That's a nice, I like that.
Yeah, it's cool, like on that little like on off towards the end of it.
Yeah, so I've never seen that. That was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, because I normally go to the right of it and it's the main line.
Yeah.
It's really fun to follow you because I'm seeing new stuff.
To give like a non-visual explanation of kind of what it's like. We're on this knoll of Oak Mountain, and there's like these patches of knobs of rocks that stick out, connected by like nice, simple single track. And then you've got some cool up options, you got some cool down options. Yeah, it's awesome.
And what we'll have here coming up, Michaels, we'll have a split. We'll have the original line that we built, and I still remember the first day that I ever conquered this. I thought I was a Red Bull Rampage athlete, you know what I mean? And now it's kind of like it's one of the easiest things out here. And then we have another line over there that Javier can show you. But yeah,
I always like doing this like ridge rock here.
Okay, you stay up high on it?
Yeah, I've either snuck in through here or like went in like here to there and down.
Yeah.
Nice. Get it, there you go.
Yeah. Nice, Michael. That's the line, dude. You nailed it.
Hell yeah.
And you did it perfectly.
Thanks, man.
Perfect. Like, I don't think I've seen anybody do it that good. That was awesome. You even got a little nose manual down that rock. So good. All right, so we're getting close to your diving board.
What is he called? The Eye of Sauron?
That's exactly what we named it. Yeah, because of the eye at the bottom.
Yeah.
We've got two more lines you may not have seen yet. One is basically you ride this line and you have this nice patch of rock.
Yeah.
And you can do a little stoppy here. Get the rear wheel falling out to the side.
Yeah.
Let off the brakes. Pop up here. Roll, pop down.
Ooh, nice.
So that's probably our funnest line.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really fun, especially if you add a stoppy right in that, right there on that rock face right there. And then the line that Javier and Barry and Spencer have done that I'll never do. Basically,
kind of ride that down.
That spine, yeah.
Ride the spine and then go off the eye.
Yeah, it's just exactly what you were doing.
Exactly. So this is a cool setup where the approach trail that we rode into it, as you're approaching, you're kind of at the mid tier of a rocky knoll. And I mean, even if you stay like normal trail, you have like a cool little rock slab to ride down, and it crosses below it. But if you scoot up to the right as you approach it, there's kind of two options where you can go to this upper, and then there's like an upper.
Yes, exactly.
And I remember we were riding this, and it's always what I do is, it comes from BMX, is like I'm just always scanning.
Yeah.
Looking at obstacles, even when I'm driving my car down the road. Like I'm like rubbernecking down alleyways.
Exactly.
And I do it the same thing on a mountain bike trail.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
when me and all my ex-Virginia hombres come through here, I see what looks like something on the left, which would be the lander, and then so I'm crick neck up to the right. And I'm like, oh, boys, stop! We got to turn back around.
Yes.
And so we all hiked back up here, and we took all our different lines down and stuff like that. But yeah, this so if you just do the main line, it's a couple of rolly pieces, and then it's like guys got a couple more options. Rider's right.
Yeah, and so for those of you who can't see this right now, like the quote unquote easy line is really hard for most mountain bikers. Yeah, for 95% of mountain bikers, it's really hard. And then the line that Michael accidentally caught and saw on his own ride, which just so happened with divine providence that Javier had seen, that's another step, several steps up, I'd say.
So this is cool. I like this sideline here.
It's way more fun, yeah. And the other thing is, this rock slab, like, this was not a part of the original trail. Like, we never saw this. We built this whole main line.
Like, you guys did a lot of work through there.
Yeah, we worked all
bench cut and everything.
And then
some jerk comes through.
Yeah, and he said, "Does anybody ever think about riding that rock slab right next to the main line?" And I tried to talk him out of it for weeks, because I was afraid he's going to go to the hospital. I'm like, And then he did it.
This is like 2013, 2015?
This was a little later, probably 2016 maybe?
It was a little before you did it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, even this main line, yeah. And then he did it, Javier did it, and then Chuck did it, and then I had to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, but I'm talking about the main line, not, I mean, the main hard rock slab line, not your diving board line. But yeah, it's just cool that because as our riding progresses, we see more possibilities that we never saw 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's what's really cool about the sport, is as long as we're progressing, we have more things to tackle for sure.
And as you travel more, like you mentioned earlier that you've been wanting to go to Squamish.
Yes.
I'd been to Squamish before I came here, so rock slabs were just on my mind, right?
That's right.
And when you learn how to ride them,
yes,
and when you come back and find them back home,
yes,
it they're not as gnarly looking.
Yeah, it opens up a whole new world, and I wish I could sing that song for you right now.
Yeah, we've got copyright issues to deal with if you tried to sing it.
Disney.
Let's continue riding some bikes.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna try to do that. Stoppy, I'm 50-50 on it.
So I want to do that one too because it looks
Try
fun.
to give me just a little room in case I botch it.
Pressure's on.
Yeah, right.
The mic is recording. There we go. Up, yep. Nice. Yeah. Control your speed into this rock.
Yeah.
I like it. Drop in.
That's a fun line, isn't it?
Oh man, that was really fun.
It's got flow. It's just got so much flow. You would never think of flow on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are harder lines and more risky lines, but I think that's the funnest of them all.
Yeah.
To be honest.
There's something about the sound your bike makes when you get up on a rock slab.
Yeah.
You hear your tires just fighting for grip.
Oh yeah.
But not quite sliding out. And then your brakes grabbing.
I love it.
You're not wanting to lock them up. You want to let them move just a little bit.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Oh man, it just makes me think of riding Squamish.
And we actually named this one North Shore.
Okay.
And then the last rock slab on this trail, we actually named it Squamish-ish.
Squamish-ish,
because
yeah.
we had never been to Squamish.
Okay.
And what's really cool is there's some guys, some of the transition guys that came from Bellingham on the demo tour. One of them looked at it and he said, "Dude, this is good enough. It deserves its own name." And that made us feel so good. Like, you know, like
We're worthy.
I mean, we don't have to be on your coattails. Like, we have our own name in Alabama.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
Heck yeah.
We call this this next section, we call it No Dabs.
No dabs, okay.
Jay Bradford called it that, and that's kind of stuck with us. It's our quote unquote XC section.
Okay. Oh, I know this section, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
There's a couple little alt lines in here too. Yeah, look at that. You know, on the front wheel. Getting up high right here. Line dabbed.
Oh, I'm off too. Sorry. You go ahead. I stay right.
Riding the blade up right here.
That's fine. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, like a pro. So good. Nice, Michael. That was some good work, dude.
Thanks, man. I love that little blade climb.
Oh,
move.
yeah. And the thing about that is, it took us forever to learn that you need to be on the blade.
Yeah.
Because we used to try to be over in the canal, and it would never work.
Up on that blade of the rock.
Yeah.
Water sheds off of it so easy, so stuff doesn't grow as better.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it stays more like rough.
Several moves here.
The options are endless.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Didn't make it.
We're like 25% success rate on that.
Okay.
That move.
I've usually just like ran it out.
Yeah. And that's what most people do. But we always like, okay, that's the
Gotta
real line.
make it a little harder.
That's the real line, right? And we do that both directions.
Cool.
So it's just as hard going the other way for a different reason.
I believe it.
And this is either stoppy rock or manual, whichever you want.
Okay. I mean, when we were at the last big rock move where we stopped and talked, up until that point, the transition trail between tech features was fairly simple.
Right.
Now they're getting harder.
They're getting harder.
They're getting progressively harder. Like after each one, it gets a little bit more.
And then you're getting tireder.
And then you're getting tireder.
Yeah, because each one of them requires kind of a blast. This is the original, like, this is the very first rock roll we ever did.
Okay.
Up here, and it's no big deal now, but
you've stepped the game up since then.
It was a huge deal then. Round the corner and go straight down this.
Oh, dude, I like that.
Yeah, and it was, like I said, it was freaking, this is the biggest rock slide I'd ever seen in my life anybody ride a bike on. You know what I mean? And now it's like, I hardly ever do it because it's not worth the energy to get up here. you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Yeah, there's one tricky line up here we'll do before we get to the last slab.
Here we are, the creme de la creme of Oak Mountain State Park.
Yeah.
Squamish-ish.
Yeah, so let me make sure you've seen all the lines, Michael.
I know of 3 lines.
All right, tell them to me.
I mean, obviously you got straight down.
Right, that's one.
You got one where you kind of come diagonal across.
Uh-huh.
And you got one where you kind of go a more, would it be obtuse angle across it? Pivot and then diagonal back down this way?
Yeah, over this rock.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
over
yeah.
this rock. That's like the pro move.
Yeah, so the easy line, of course, is right down the middle.
Yep.
The hard line is the one you just said through here.
Yeah.
The other line is stop here, level lift, whatever, get up on it and ride down it.
Yep.
The other one that only Javier's done is come down the middle.
Oh, I see some jank over there.
Get on this, roll that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last line that we've done, and we call it garage because we've hidden our tools in here. And it's basically
Just step down.
Right off of here down. You enter it the same place, but then you come over, and really you can almost roll it, can't you, Javier?
Almost, yeah.
I mean, you just
a little front wheel lift.
Yeah, you just don't want to clip your pedal on that outcropping.
No.
But yeah, those are all the lines that we can see on it.
What is this, like 30, 40 feet tall rock slab?
I'd say probably about that, yeah.
Yeah. And so, it's got a bunch of water's eaten into it in a bunch of different ways to create some interesting shapes and potential line options, some cracks or some moss growing on it. And Lon and Javier and the boys have found some spicy lines on it.
Yeah. And it's I haven't found a bigger rock slab in the areas I've ridden in the Southeast. They're probably out there, but I haven't seen them.
The challenge with a lot of the rock slabs, at least in Western North Carolina, is how they terminate.
Yes.
They roll in and get vertical right to ground.
Right.
So we don't have a lot of good rock roll options. They're going to have or it's like it doesn't taper off, but it meets the ground, and the ground is just gets steeper for 100 more feet.
Right. Exactly.
So, but yeah, this is super awesome.
So nice to have all these options in the Southeast.
Yeah, totally. You don't have to go to Squamish to get gnarly rock features.
Yeah.
You got to go to Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, they're always going to have more than we, but that's why you go there. It's funny because when I got certified in Whistler from my professional mountain bike instructor, one of the guys in my class, he goes, "Bet you don't have any of this in Alabama," almost like it was all Alabama.
Just throwing it out at you.
Yeah, like we were on the sandy beach.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, actually we do. We don't have as much of this as you guys do, but this is not completely foreign to me.
But I'll take you on a trail and make you dab.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. You will dab.
Yep. Well, Lon, we just completed a Boulder Ridge lap, and dude, that was really awesome.
Appreciate you coming, man. It means a lot to us that you would take the time to see what we've been working on all these years.
Yeah, dude, the beauty of my job is sometimes I get to travel to cool places that have great mountain biking. And whenever the option is to come close to Birmingham, dude, Oak Mountain is before I think about hotel, where I'm staying, what I need to do prep-wise for my job, where are my vegetarian restaurants, my first thought is, hell yes, I get to ride Boulder Ridge.
That's awesome. That's great.
And after all these years of us chatting online, and to finally get to ride it with you.
Heck
and
yeah.
Javier, it was a pleasure to follow you into some of those lines too. So,
yeah. And I got the best of both worlds because I got to follow you, Michael, and I learned some new lines. You can teach an old dog new tricks, so that was good. We'll have to work on those.
I'm glad I opened your eyes on a couple little moves, but that's the beauty of this trail is there's just so many options.
For sure.
If someone wanted to book a session with you, to follow you on Instagram, whatever, or social media, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, the best thing probably would be to just go to my website, singletrackskills.bike, and just shoot me a message through there. You can also catch me on Instagram or Facebook. It's the same thing, singletrackskills.bike.
Cool. Yeah, and you're pretty active I follow you on Instagram, but I definitely we'll have to connect on the face space.
For sure, man.
But yeah, man, and thanks for inviting me down and in the future, and dude, open invite back home.
Yes, thank you.
Come ride Pisgah, DuPont, Canuga.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah.
Man, I'd love to, tell you into some scary stuff.
I would love that. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time to stop and ride with us. It's really cool that you did. Went out your way to do it.
So outside of Oak Mountain State Park, what are some other must-hit zones in the Birmingham area? You mentioned Coldwater.
Yeah. Now Coldwater has a new trail there called Pip. Have you ridden that yet?
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Again, it's it's kind of like Boulder Ridge. You either love it or hate it.
Yeah, some cool off-camber.
Off-camber.
You got to find the flow in that rock chain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it requires a tremendous amount of fitness because of off-camber climbing.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I like it, and I like challenging trails. So that's probably one of the newer trails out there. I like, Goldilocks and, all your staples at Coldwater. There's a local trail system in Trussville that has some neat tech in it too.
Okay.
We don't make it out there very much because we live closer to Oak Mountain, but yeah, that's fun. Tannehill is going to be more XC oriented.
Okay.
Yeah, Auburn. Yeah, for sure. Auburn is great. That's another great example of a local club really coming together and getting a lot done.
Mm-hmm. I follow what they're up to on Instagram.
Yeah,
some of the boys
yeah.
on there, and
yeah.
My show is actually going there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I was looking forward to taking my bike in.
For
ride
sure.
stuff. And I see they've got some big jumpy jumps.
Yeah. The road gap is really big, and it's a really big wall ride, and it's been well received by the park. That's the difference between even state parks within the same state. They'll allow different things.
Okay.
And I imagine it depends upon who the director is of that particular park and what their goals are.
To me, it sounds like you could definitely put together a solid week of awesome riding in Alabama.
For sure, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the key would be to get a guide to make sure that you're going the right direction, and
Oh yeah, I've definitely fumbled the wrong direction on trails. Climb the fun down hills and descend the fun up hills and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it seems like my experience has been in most states, if you look for a guide, then somebody's willing to do it and they're not going to rake you over the coals, it's worth the money.
Yeah.
Like, we spend as much money on gas to get there and everything else, and you want to have the best experience. I always hire a guy when I go to another state because I just want to have fun. I may never be back,
Yeah.
So
you want to hit the best of the best, and
exactly. And that guide is going to know what you want, because that's what it's all about. What do you want when you're coming, not what somebody else does.
You're not opening up trail forks at every trail intersection.
That's no fun. Exactly.
It sucks, and it kills your phone battery.
Yeah. And it's raining, and it's just not fun.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, sweet, dude. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. Cool. All right. Thanks, Michael.
Wow, so listening to you guys talk about this stuff, I definitely need to check it out, because some of the visuals I get listening to you talk about it really does sound like the kind of place where you could go and session some places and maybe kind of polish up those skills underneath you and take on a different kind of challenge.
Yeah, and that's something that I think a lot of mountain bikers are forgetting the roots of, is the whole sessioning thing. And the cool thing about Boulder Ridge Trail is there are lines that go both ways, and both the popular direction and some alternate directions. But also, it kind of like each section of outcropping of boulders, there's multiple lines going both directions, so you can just kind of have like little mini playgrounds.
And if there's a slab out there that's called Squamish-ish, I'm gonna have to be the police and make sure that it actually lives up to its name.
Yeah, bring your ticket pad, because you're going to be surprised.
Good. Can't wait to see it.
Oh yeah.
And as we're going into this holiday weekend, have you got any eyes on the weather?
I do have eyes on the weather, and according to the National Weather Service, this is looking to be a very, very nice week. We had a little bit of rain shower night before last, or it was last night, but we had a little bit of rain shower here a couple of nights ago that kind of gave a nice moisture thing, maybe helped beat the leaves down a little bit. But going forward until almost next weekend, I'm looking at some chilly lows, that's for sure, because it is that time of year, but sunshine and highs in the low to high 50s. So you can't really argue with that. It sounds like good bike riding weather, and hopefully you don't eat too much tryptophan and get too sleepy, and you can get out for a post-Thanksgiving mountain bike ride.
Right on. Well, I will do my best to ride away the calories I'm about to put on.
Yeah, I think we all need to do that. Well, guys, that's a wrap on this week's episode. And as always, you can find us on social media. Just search Pisgah Podcast. And we've still got the web store going with shirts and koozies. You can check that out at pisgahpodcast.bigcartel.com.
And if you enjoy that slow jank, then go ahead and click subscribe, share with your friends. Buy your friends a Listen to Pisgah t-shirt and a koozie for a Christmas gift. And Mangler, go easy on those toe forkies, okay?
Okay. I won't let it escape.